We have our girl in here,
Oh,
Trysta Krick, a.k.a., as the streets are saying, Trysta Thompson. That's what
Oh God,
they're calling you, Trysta Thompson out here.
it's rude. Don't let him do that, James. The slander is ridiculous. It needs to stop. I need to be the same size as you guys. So I'm gonna back this up like a U-Haul truck really fast.
You're in the Portland studios, the Portland Odyssey studios out there.
Guys, it is so nice.
Mm.
This studio the only other studio that is as nice is yours. The Sacramento studio is very nice too. This is brand new. It's like 6 months old, and it's in a great area. It's in Northwest Portland, like downtown, kind of, but like in the industrial part, which is kind of cool and popping, but kind of like still quiet where there's parking. They gave me a parking pass, which is just insane. It's on the ground level, so you just walk in the door, and then it's boom, Odyssey. You just walk through the front doors, and boom, you're there. Boom. I have my own little production studio, just all for me. This little microphone that I can just navigate on this computer. I can go. You want to see how close we can get in?
The close-up of all close-ups right there. I heard San Francisco's getting a new studio too. So Odyssey making moves out here on the West Coast with the studios, man. We're doing big things.
I can see that. I know DC needs itself a little upgrade your weekend because we get fruit flies down there. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna besmirch the name of my own studio. Because I'm trying to be. It's a nice summer day, you know.
It's a nice summer day. Yeah.
It's a nice summer day.
So Trysta, before you came in, we were talking about. I don't know if you had seen the clip of Klay Thompson on Paul George's podcast. I just thought I had been critical of Klay Thompson in the last year or so because I thought he was just kind of. I thought that the four on the bench, like when he's talking to Memphis and when he's talking about Devin Booker, I was like, man, that's kind of corny, man. Like that's what we're gonna do all the time. What that got to do with how you playing right now? Like if you getting busted up right now, what you telling me 4 championships for? Like I just thought that was kind of corny. I thought he was kind of insecure or whatever. And I kind of gone in on him a couple of times, and then I saw that clip, and I don't want to go as far as say I gained new respect for him because I didn't disrespect him. I didn't not have respect for him. So I think that's a little bit of an aggressive term. But I just really liked what he said about that moment with Devin Booker and how he was like, look, man, I was a little insecure at the time. I was in a different place in my life and in my career, and I handled it a certain way that I wish I wouldn't have handled it. And I just thought that was really cool from Klay to kind of have that type of introspective look on something like that and to say, and to be vulnerable enough to say, yeah, I was like kind of in a bad spot. I shouldn't have handled it that way.
Yeah, I think what that was to me, and I think he's in the exact same spot in terms of like career-wise, because that was what, like earlier this season or maybe last season?
Last season, yeah, early
last season, right? So kind of like him coming back from injury. He's just like, I think I heard a little bit of James talking about this before I came in while I was listening backstage. He's just not the same guy anymore, you know? And when you were one of the best two-way, people were calling him the best two-way two guard in the league when he was in his prime, right? He was a splash bro. Like he was offensively very dynamic. He was probably the best plug and play, could work on any roster and you could fit him in and he could be your second option anywhere he goes. The respect level's high. You know, he was very durable, played a ton of games immediately with Steph. You know, they get into this dynastic realm, and then he has 2 catastrophic injuries back to back. And you wonder whether you're ever going to be that version that could bust somebody else's ass. And now your defense, which was your claim to fame, was your defense. And now it's gone. You're getting absolutely cooked on a barbecue chicken by Devin Booker, and he's letting you know about it.
Yeah.
And you're in a space where this is a new territory for you. And a guy who, and I know Klay acknowledged this, but like a guy who was languishing in Phoenix for many years is now letting you know that you are lower than him. Like, it's like, who does this MFer think he is right now?
There's
Let
a
me
new
tell
sheriff
him,
in town, old
yeah.
man.
Let me knock him down a peg and tell him he's never won anything in his damn life.
Yeah.
And because you just, when you're in your feelings and you're triggered, you just try to figure out a way to hurt someone back because it hurts so bad.
Right.
And that's been Klay's MO throughout, is that he's kind of a moody, he's a great dude, very like James said, very introspective when he gets going. A tad shy to get going, but once he's talking, he gives you everything that's inside of his brain, like honestly and authentically. It's just getting him there. So that authenticity on the court sometimes comes out in a peevish sort of, like, we talk about the ego and the child and the parent of like the psychology. He goes into child mode. So yeah, like we all knew he was acting out. We all knew that he was getting cooked. And for any of us, this just goes to show us, if you think that this is what's going on, and we all saw the same thing, we're like, yeah, this is just very clearly he's not the same guy and he's in his feelings. More often than not, they know that too. There's only a few outcomes or reasons that a person would do whatever it is that they're doing. What's the most logical reason? That's probably the most likely reason.
Right.
And so you don't have to have a ton of intel to know that. But credit to Klay for owning up to, like, yeah, that was foul of me.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting too. We looked at this season from him, and he kind of snuck up on you. Like, you go back and you look at his stats, and you're, I know we did it for the playoffs. You get surprised that he really was as good as he was. I mean, he made 301 made 3-pointers, and that was only in like 68, 69 games. That's 6th all time for a single season, 301 makes.
Goodness gracious.
And again, it's his highest season ever, which is crazy to think that he set his own personal record after coming back from multiple injuries and not even playing a full season. He still missed, 13 or 14 games. But it's funny to watch the Warriors, some of their players, like, start to analyze like their legacy and who they are and where they're going to be, what they mean to the game or what they meant to the game at this point. Because I think we're in that part of the program, right? Where they're not done, but they also probably aren't a contender anymore, even though it's a year removed from them being the champs.
Don't talk about our dubs like that.
Our dubs like that. The disrespect for our dubs is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, they go out and they, their big move, like Jason Jones, they brought in a 38-year-old Chris Paul. Like, that was their big move this offseason. And to jettison a 24-year-old who you'd put a bunch of money into.
Steve Kerr said they needed a playmaker.
Yeah. Well,
so they got Chris Paul.
They got the 3rd all-time leader in assists in NBA history. But again, he's 38 years old, and staying healthy for the playoffs has always been a problem. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to watch this again, part of their chapter. That, this is a new chapter in their book of greatness, but it's like sort of the wind down and sort of the look back. And it is kind of cool to see guys come full circle and be able to have, express themselves in the right way.
Yeah.
With Steph, he's just going out there and like hitting holes in one and talking about sliced meats.
There we go. They're sliced. Well, yeah.
Just saying.
And Steph ain't slowing down. Like that's the crazy thing with like these other guys like Klay and Draymond, and I love Warrior fans. They were talking about Iguodala. They were like, statue Iguodala, like settle, retire his jersey. Settle down. Like settle down. Iguodala, very good ball player. No, we're not retiring his jersey. There ain't no statues. Like, settle down. But that's the difference. Like, all these guys, won together, and they're like kind of winding down. And Steph is not. Steph is like top 5 MVP candidate right now. Right now. It's crazy.
And if you're Steph, you're in because we talk about like the likely outcomes. If in my view as a we'll call it a sideline moonlight armchair psychologist, is the conflicting nature that still being at the peak of your powers whilst being one of the most loyal longest tenured players in the league. Is you still have championship quality basketball left in you, but your comrades, the guys that you've been winning wars for many years, they've got nicks and dings, and they're slowing down, and they can't keep up with you. But like, you've won all these wars with them, and you're like, I don't really want to leave them in the dust, but like, there's more I really want to accomplish. He's not going anywhere, right? I don't think he will leave the Warriors, but that makes a lot of tension with what the team does, especially with Klay and his contract. I said this during the playoffs when, for whatever reason, Adrian Wojnarowski, before game 1, strangely decided to tell us that Klay Thompson was not taking a discount to stay with the Warriors. The next, you guys remember that, right? Like, that was said.
Absolutely.
That was not a dream. While we were enjoying the festivities before game 1 in the house. That's right.
Trysta Krick was in the Golden One Center. She was in Sacramento for game 1. That was a movie. That was
in the house. He was telling us that Klay Thompson and his camp will not be taking less money. And to that I say poppycock. That will have to be the case for this team to be anything close to keeping Steph Curry content with the direction that they're going.
You know, one of the things I remember about that game 1,
the win,
definitely the win. But we're all, courtside before the game or whatever. You know who like stopped the show when they came out there? Shams. Shams was there. Hey, what's up, Big Shams? Shams got love from Vivek. Vivek like walked away from somebody. Hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? Whatever. And the only person that could really, the only person that everybody was stopping to talk to Shams, right? They would stop him and talk to him. The only person that he would stop and talk to? Trysta Krick.
Oh.
It's a fact. I watched the whole thing unfold. He's just like kind of half-heartedly like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Oh, I'm going this way. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Oh, I'm going this way. I got to go back. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Trysta. Oh, Trysta. Hey, girl. Come here, girl. I was like, man, these two titans here in Sacramento right now.
Kenny, you're too good to me. You're too good to me. Giving me a little additional clout for the chatty house.
I'm not lying, though. Am I lying, Trysta? I'm not lying.
He's not lying. He did not make that up. That's not a made up story. I think someone took a photo too, and they were like, "Was it Kyle? I forget who was it."
I think it was.
They were
Kyle.
like, "Yeah," they like took a photo of us next to each other, put it on Twitter, and they're like, "Look at these two. What's going on?"
He's a well manicured man.
He's smooth.
Yeah,
I'm just sure. He's a little shorter than I thought he'd be, but he's smooth dude. He's smooth dude. Got a nice little style. So we didn't talk about this at all yet, but Team USA played yesterday in the exhibition against Puerto Rico. Looked good. I mean, much better than what we were hearing was going on Friday. We heard Jalen Duren was just destroying these guys left and right out of nowhere. They have no answer for Cade Cunningham. Seemed like they got themselves together. How do you feel about this Team USA team? I'm like, I don't know.
Team Austin Rivers.
Okay.
Team Austin.
Team Austin Rivers. How would I put this? I think it's definitely a team that is young and fun and has some talent, but like this is very clearly our B team, right? This is not, when Jalen Brunson, and no shade to Jalen Brunson because he's one of my favorite point guards in the league, so there's nothing rude here that is being said, but he's the leader of the team. He's the chieftain. He's the mighty chief.
He's the tribal chief.
Yeah, if we are talking about Jalen Brunson being the mighty chief for the Olympics, it will be a very quick U.S. women's national team World Cup like exit. You know what I mean? We can't have everybody needs to bring their A team because we got people, large stars all over the NBA trying to play for their respective countries. Luka obviously is a beast in terms of international play. France is going to be very formidable. So we need to bring our best, and that's not this. I don't know how many guys end up from Team USA going on to the Olympic team. I don't know, maybe 3.
Well, I'll ask both of you guys. Like how many? So yeah, how many guys are missing that we think are going to be on the Olympic team? I think I don't know if he's commenting on it. I think Steph will play because Steph doesn't have a gold medal, does he? Does he?
He's never played in Olympics. Never.
Yeah. So I think Steph might play.
I don't know that he will.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I mean, he never has. I don't know why he would start now.
Right.
And think about this too. You know, the smaller, non-beefy, non-defensive minded guards in FIBA type environments, they just do not do well. You saw Damian Lillard, even though he had a core injury, he was getting cooked out there. He was not looking good. You know, you need bigger guards. That's just what you need. If the guards that have done well that are small, like Chris Paul or Drew Holiday, even though Drew Holiday is quite a bit taller than Dame, those guys can play defense, and you need to do that at the FIBA level. So I don't know that Steph will play. I think Tatum will play.
Oh yeah.
That's one that I think will definitely.
Was Tatum in where were they at last time? China. He played, right?
Tokyo, yeah.
Tokyo, yeah.
You might get Brown too. Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, Tatum and Brown.
Might get Tatum and Brown. You'll probably get Mikal Bridges from this team.
Yeah.
I think that's one.
Booker would probably
maybe Jaren Jackson.
Yeah. I think you might, we talk about it here, obviously in Sacramento. I think there's an outside chance you might get Keegan.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
You don't think Keegan making it?
He has to take a huge step forward. If he does, I mean, when the Olympics are 2 years away?
Yes.
No, they're next summer.
Next summer?
Oh, they are next summer.
It's been 4 years already. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, no, because they postponed
they
2020 to 2021. So it's been 3.
So
no, I don't think so. I mean, I think you're talking about you need the top. You need at least 6 of the top 10 players in the world or in the country in the NBA game. Like you need everyone who's in the peak of their powers in order for this team to win.
Yeah, I like a Jimmy Butler. Who would probably be there or might be. I mean, you got to start making some calls here. This is like
Kevin Durant will be immediately in. Right? If he wants to play, he'll play. Draymond will play. I'm just telling you, Steve Kerr's team will play.
You're not wrong, but they're gonna take Draymond over Keegan Murray, and that's
Bam Adebayo will play.
Bam will play.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Steve Kerr can pull Steph into play.
I think they might need Steph because is Dame gonna play again?
I don't think Dame will play. I mean, I think Devin Booker will play.
Yeah.
I think they need Steph. I think he's gonna have to ask for a favor.
I think they needed a very healthy. If they had a very healthy Anthony Davis, and I know that's like sounds crazy because he's almost never fully healthy, or they need Joel Embiid to not play for France. That's just what they need. Because if Joel Embiid is playing for France, it'd be very difficult with our centers to contend with that.
Didn't they say? Isn't Joel going back and forth between
France and the U.S.
In the U.S., right? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, they need
because he's not playing for Cameroon. That's not happening. Yeah.
No. Well, and wasn't Paolo Banchero?
Paolo is there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Italy.
but he was Italy. Yeah. He got some nasty pub there.
Yeah, he did. That was nasty work. He basically held them on the line and said he was going to meet them in Milan. And he was over there for this like media fest and said he was going to meet with the coach and set it up. And then he ghosted him.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
That's not nice.
Can't do that, Paolo.
Can't do that. So, yeah, I think it's Jaren Jackson. I think it's Bam. I think it's either Joel Embiid, maybe an Anthony Davis, Draymond Green. So you got 4 centers, 4 big men right there, right? You know, it's Devin Booker. You know, it's Jason Tatum. You know, it's Kevin Durant. I mean, that's 7-8 spots out of the 15. I don't think Keegan Murray is going to crack that list. I would be curious, though, because I know there was a lot of like a moderate amount of controversy around this. I would be curious if he takes another, and he doesn't really need to take a leap. I think he just needs more pub. is De'Aaron Fox. Like, I'd love to see De'Aaron Fox play for Team USA. He tried out, and he ended up leaving. James, he like ended up backing out because of something happened. Like, it was a weird health thing.
No, so I was there for all of this. So we were in Vegas for Team USA, and then he made it to the next round, which was in LA. He was going to be on the team, most likely, but they played Spain at the Honda Center in Anaheim, and Fox's role was almost nothing. He out of nowhere, Derek White was getting all these minutes, and he wasn't.
Oh yeah, because Popovich was the coach then.
Yes,
he put Derek White in. Yep.
So it was a Friday night. The next day, they were leaving for Australia. They were going to be in Australia for like 16 days building up to the Olympics to acclimate to the time change and all this stuff. And then they were going to go to the Olympics, and then the Olympics were going to be another like 3 or 4 weeks. And so it was really like a 6-week commitment they were asking. And then he barely plays. And so he had the wedding of his agent at the time, Chris Gaston, longtime friend, that he had already committed to in September, and it was going to eat up all of this space. And they didn't commit to him like the day before, like the day of. So when the team plane left for Australia, the Fox wasn't on it, and he made the decision to stay back. And even like that summer, Bagley was on the team as well. And had moved from the select team and then got an invite to move up to the main team to play in LA for the week. And Bagley decided not to go to LA. He had other things going on. Fox had other things going on. Yeah. But I think it was more of, he didn't know what his role was going to be and where he was going to be, even if he was going to make the team, because they weren't going to make final cuts until they were in Australia and a while down the road. Yeah. And he's like, okay, like, I don't know where I'm going to be and what this will do to my season and what this will do for what we're trying to do in SAC and what he's doing in regular life. Yeah. And so without the commitment from like an actual, this is who and what we think you are for us, he bailed.
And what do you think? Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Sorry, Kenny. What do you think, given how Fox played before he hurt his finger in that first round against Golden State? He was busting their ass and defensively really good. Do you think that seeing that up close and personal for Steve Kerr matters at all in Team USA mentality?
I think it does, but you got to remember the Team USA is all about loyalty, and it's this weird loyalty thing that gets thrown around way too much. And I hope that they come back to him and say, hey, look, are you interested? Can we mend fences and all this? Because I don't think that there's a bunch of personal like angst, but when you leave camp like that, I think that some people took it personally. And, now De'Aaron's in a different spot too. Yeah. He's got a young baby at home and he's married. And, do you give up? Like, again, it's we're talking about with the buildup camps and all this stuff, we're talking about 2 months of your summer. Are you willing to give it up? And if Fox is saying, yes, I want to give it up, who knows? But there's even a possibility like this summer we heard murmurs that he may have been interested and may have like put feelers out there. And so maybe there will be the same thing, in the coming months.
I hope everything works where they can come together again. But if Damian was here, and Damian is, he has ties to Team USA, and he says the way they operate, he's dead to them. Like, and it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, like that. We brought it up a number of different times. He's like, if you leave, like he left, now anything can change. I asked him too. I said, there's different people involved now. I think Grant Hill's involved. Maybe
Grant Hill's running it.
Yeah, he's got a different outlook on it. But the way it has been is if you do something like that, you're dead to them. And I think that's a missed opportunity. I think he'd be great. I remember when he played or was at the trials or practices or whatever. I had a guy who was coaching in there, and he would I was like, hey, I said, what are they both looking like? What are Fox and Bagley looking like? It's like, Bagley's cool. Like, he's doing okay. He's like, but Fox
was killing it.
Nobody guard him. Like, nobody can guard him.
He was killing it.
He's like, it is crazy. Like, nobody can stay in front of him. And I would hope, and that was 3-4 years ago. I would hope now that, they look at what he's become. And like I said, maybe Grant Hill has a different outlook on how to, get these teams. Maybe he can bring these relationships back together, because I agree with you, Trysta. He would be great for Team USA.
We were there the night before. Like I was there. I interviewed De'Aaron after the game, and I'm like, "What's your role?" And he kind of looked at me and like, I don't know. And it was like, oh, okay. So the next day when the word came out that he didn't go, like, it was like, I get it. You don't know your role. And I'm not giving up all that time and all that energy and what that means for your body at the end of the day without any sort of like strong commitment that, it's one thing to go and be sitting there on the bench and represent your country. It's a whole nother thing that if you're really not part of it, or if you go all the way, all that time, and then they make final cuts and Derek White makes a team over you, and you're like, it's okay. I don't blame De'Aaron.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have to imagine that was, I was slated to cover the Olympics in Tokyo before the pandemic began, and then obviously that prolongs. And when you were slotted or trying to go over there, this was the same thing for media as it was for athletes. The rules were so strict in terms of your requirements for like quarantining, and if you were a close contact to anyone who got COVID, meaning if your cell phone, if you just plugged your cell phone in next to someone else who's in an immediate area, or just a plug, whatever, because it's all GPS and like geotagged, and that other person plugs their cell phone in, and that person gets COVID, you are now in a hotel room, not leaving at all for like 6 weeks.
Goodness.
6 weeks. Just like boom, you're done. So you couldn't be near anyone. You couldn't be out in Tokyo. You couldn't do anything. You were in this isolated bubble. You could only go to the games that you had requested and were approved to go to. There was no like Olympic parlaying like normal. And if you're a player and you're not playing and you can't even blow off steam to see the city at all, yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
I ain't doing that. Trysta Krick. I'm not gonna call you the other alias, because Trysta has spoken. She said, "Get that alias out of here." If I see anybody with that alias in the chat, you're going in timeout. Trysta has spoken.
The difference between me and Tristan Thompson is I am ethically.
Oh, we'll just stop that.
Ethically non-monogamous, not non-ethically non-monogamous. He's out here doing all kinds of like trickery and tomfoolery.
Oh boy,
and people are getting just side swiped. He has a baby now by somebody's like, whoa, I didn't even know we were doing all that. That just would not happen.
That's not Trysta Krick. That's not Trysta Krick. I appreciate you being flexible today, man. It was always good talking.
Thank you guys. Take care.
No problem.